These two areas, here's a lot of history. You may not look like it, but it's going to get better. This is 220. Oh, I'm sorry. This is 225 Josephine. This house was served as a boarding house. The rooms were advertised in the People's Journal, a monthly newspaper published by George L.B. Harris of Maryville from 1885 to 1930, as rooms by the day, week, or month. Mrs. Franklin, a seamstress and a midwife. Now, Rob, this is where this comes in about how Miss Catherine had the services of a midwife to assist her in the birth. Okay? The midwife, Miss Franklin, was the midwife that assisted with, the births and everything. Oh, our parents didn't make it to the hospital. Okay? She was a seamstress and a midwife. Mr. Franklin was one of the founders of the Franklin Annex at 13 Josephine Street. Mr. Hampton Page, a grandson, ran a taxi service from the house, similar to Booby over here. All right. We're going next door. Mr. Mansfield Page, he's one of my uncles, as same as Hamilton Page, was known as the Fishman. His small truck, from which he sold fresh fish to the black community, was retrofitted with scales loaded with fish and ice as he traveled to homes and farms to sell his fish. And okay, going back. Mansfield Page was one of my uncles that lived here. He was called the Fishman. He ran a little fish truck, which he sold fresh fish to the black community, and was retrofitted with scales loaded with fish and ice as he traveled to homes and farms to sell the fresh fish. And I want to add something about Mansfield Page. He was another monitor of the youth on Josephine Street. Whatever we did, we got straight by the neighbors, Uncle Mansfield, and anyone else who caught us doing it. And plus, we got reprimanded when we got home, when our parents came home from work. It could be 5 o'clock or whatever time. So we came from a great foundation. And I also like to add, it's a blessing to say that once we finished high school, before we crossed over that Shenandoah River Bridge, we were engrossed in a foundation. The first thing they taught us is not to wear our feelings on our shoulder. So when we were educated, went into the government, army, or whatever, teaching, whatever we wanted to do, we was always taught that we could always come back home and not to wear your feelings on your shoulder. Just keep it in stride, that whoever said whatever they said to you was for a reason, because they cared. And every one of us have been successful that crossed over that bridge or whatever. We've all been successful. And one of the reasons why we've been so successful is because we had a great foundation, and I call it the village. Some people refer to it as community. If we ever needed anything, if one of our children or grandchildren were ever in trouble, we weren't afraid to call home and talk to mama or talk to an auntie. I'll never forget one time I was so sick I could barely talk. When I looked up, before I could get to the emergency room, there was a long caravan of family who came to check on me. Just me, just one. And once I recuperated, I didn't recuperate in Maryland. My niece was sent to bring me back home, and I recuperated at the Page Hospital, where aunts, friends from all over this community took care of all of us. If anyone became ill or anything, give you an example. My late sister, who just passed in May, she was blessed to have 24/7 health care from the family. The Reynolds, the same thing. Sandra, I'll never forget my ace. She came home, retired, took care of her parents until her sisters could come in and reinforce. And during that time, there was always someone on this street who provided meals, love, everything. You found it here on Josephine City from someone that extended throughout the community. And that's truly a blessing.
Thank you.